Well, taking a victory lap this week is a young man that goes into the end of this season's Triple Crown at the Martinsville Speedway, the Valleydale 300, with a pretty good performance record. Didn't work out the way Jared Fryar had hoped in the inaugural Harley-Davidson 200 event at South Boston Speedway, but my, oh my, he made up for it when they finally went to the Hampton Heat 200, and he joins us now. Jared, first of all, thanks so much for joining us. Second of all, tell us all how you were able to conserve the tires and get through all those late race cautions and take home the checkered flag in the Hampton Heat 200 at Langley.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Man, it was definitely a strategy race for sure. I think having a good qualifying effort and being out front really helped us, kind of set the pace and manage the tires and run the pace that I wanted to and the car needed to be able to have the tires on it at the end and go as strong as we did. So I felt like that was a lot of it, and then making the right adjustments too. We made a few adjustments at halfway that kind of really helped us and propelled us into a win there at the end, have a lot of drive in the race car.
When you have that stage break and the opportunity to sit down, even if it's just for a handful of minutes, and noodle with your crew, how much of it is a guesstimate and how much of it is Jared Fryar is damn well sure this is what he needs to get to victory lane?
Well, I feel like most of the time it is a guess, and if you make the right guess or not sometimes. But yeah, I felt pretty good about it, but I know we had to put a little fuel in it, and usually that kind of throws the balance of the race car off. So there's a few things that we do when we have to do that and not put tires on. So we were able to hit it on the head and make the right changes that kind of help with the fuel load. So obviously making sure we put enough fuel in it too to go 200 laps. That's a lot of laps too. And so everything went right, man. Like I said, it's just kind of one of them deals when things click, they click and everything goes right and smooth. And that's what it takes to win a big race like the Hampton Heat.
When you loaded up your race car back at South Boston, mangled and bruised and battered as it was, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you could resurrect it, heal it in the garage, and bring it out to Langley and have it go to victory lane? How much of a battle was that away from the racetrack?
Yeah, it was definitely a battle. Not for me. I live 3.5 hours from the shop, so it was all my dad's shoulders, and that's what I think made the win so special. That all the hours he puts in, and finally to show and get us in victory lane, because it was definitely a lot for him and took a lot of work from people at the shop, from help to moving the car around, because we had to take the car back to the chassis shop there at R&S Chassis, and so there's a lot moving parts there to go into that. And it was definitely uncertain, honestly, during the week if we were going to. I knew he could get it done and get it done right. It's just a matter in that time frame that we had between South Boston's race and then Langley. So luckily, he was able to get it done and got it all put back together right, and everything was just it was right.
All right, so you're like 3.5 miles away from the shop. You, in a typical father-son relationship, you say, "I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Dad. Hope you get it back together." In all realistic terms, how much did you burn up the phone lines just checking on the progress of your racer?
Oh, it was every day. I felt like multiple times a day, honestly, from when he took it up there to the chassis shop, how bad it was. And then if he had all the parts in stock, or they had the parts in stock that we needed. So yeah, there's a lot of communication going on, and I hated not being there, but just kind of part of it. So luckily he was able to do it and get it done right. So I just can't thank him enough.
Jared, when did you know when you got back in the race car and you took to the racetrack that you had a hot rod that was capable of winning?
Honestly, probably Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Well, Friday afternoon, I wasn't too happy with it. It was okay on speed and drivability, but it just wasn't where I felt like it needed to be. And so we made some adjustments at Friday afternoon at night after practice, and I really got that thing dialed in. So when we unloaded Saturday, it was really good. And I felt a lot better. I felt a lot better about it. And even just the only thing I was a little concerned was the qualifying effort. I know we qualified good there in the past, but usually my history of qualifying is not so good. So when we put the thing P3 in qualifying, I felt really good about
it. I said at the open of this podcast that when you look at late model racing or super late model racing, the epicenter seems to be located right in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Why is that, do you think, Jared?
I think that just the late model stock has been racing so long in North Carolina and Virginia area, and they get such a good car count there at Langley and Dominion, South Boston, that area. So I think it's just them guys. I mean, that's one thing. And late model stock racers, they've been running for more than 10 years. I feel like, Mark Warts and Deke McCaskill's, people like that still running late model stocks. Where the super late model world, it seems like a lot of young kids kind of move in and pass through. And so you don't really see them around. So it's pretty cool to race with people like Mark, man. He's been around a while and super respectful racer and race you hard without wrecking you.
So you set yourself up for at least a very interesting Valleydale 300. We've talked to a lot of the former winners, and of course, Peyton Sellers and the menagerie he brings down there. But I wonder, going into it, your mindset, knowing that at this point you have an average finish of 5.5 and could literally win the Triple Crown. Do you begin to develop maybe a little different race strategy than you would, let's say, if you were just going for the victory in the Valleydale 300?
Well, I think to win the Triple Crown, I feel like you're going to have to win the race or at least run in the top three.
Really?
So
Yeah.
So that's always our goal when we go to any race. So I feel like if we can stick to that and have, like say, have a good qualifying effort, keep the nose clean because, they're known to tear up a lot of stuff there. So keep the nose clean and stay up front, I think we'll have a good shot at it.
What's left on the agenda for 2022 for Jared?
We got about probably 6 races left. We got a couple car store races, A Speedway, North Wilkesboro at the end of the month. Obviously Martinsville, and then the Thanksgiving Classic, big race, and then Goodyear All Americans got another $10,000 race. So we got a couple more we got a handful more big money races. So looking forward to it.
You talk about North Wilkesboro, both the late model world and the modified world are genuinely excited about this. I'm going to call it beta session that Speedway Motorsports has done as they begin their resurrection process for North Wilkesboro. Have you ever been to North Wilkesboro? You're kind of young, Jared. So I don't know if maybe when you were a kid, you hunkered down over there when they were running late model Sportsman or Winston Cup.
Yeah, honestly, the North Wilkesboro phase was before my time. Honestly, only time I've ever been to it was a couple years ago. We rode up there and we couldn't get on inside the racetrack. That was the only thing that kind of sucked. But first time I'll be able to be inside it will be this year. So looking forward to it. I've seen a lot of videos and heard a lot about it. So actually, I was watching modified qualifying just for the show. So trying to take some notes and see what it's about.
Listen, we couldn't be happier for you at this point in the season. What about in the future? What's on your bucket list, and where do you hope to take this whole motorsports thing, for your career? Are you aiming towards the premier level of NASCAR, or are you going to be like go after another Cars late model championship? What's on the agenda for Jared Fryar?
I really enjoy running these late models, man, and running kind of in this region. So I think the NASCAR level is a little bit out of my reach for financial reasons, but as long as I can stay racing with my dad, something I really enjoy. So, and as far as racing for championships, I mean, it's fun. I enjoy that, but I also want to win more races. Like winning the Hampton Heat was huge and so big for our career. So to be able to get crown jewel wins like that is very big. So we're going to try to continue doing that. And like I said, like to get Martinsville, like to get the 30,000 car store, also Old North State Nationals, some of those big events like that, like to get my name on the check. So we're going to keep working towards that.
Before I let you go, it's fairly obvious to me, listening to you, that your dad plays such a pivotal role, not just in preparing the car, but, when a father and a son can have that kind of bond, it's something special. Can you describe it to folks that maybe don't enjoy that kind of a bond?
Yeah, man, it's kind of one thing we don't fight with each other, disagree. I mean, sometimes we do a little bit, but we don't let it get to that point, and because if it does, then it's not no fun. So, the race with my dad and my mom's there at all the racetracks. My sister, her little boy, my wife. So it's a family deal for me, and that's kind of how it was for my grandfather. It was a family thing. My dad worked for him, so that's kind of how it's been my whole racing career, is a family deal. So to keep it going is definitely something special and means a lot to me.
Well, I know you and your family have a spot picked out for that grandfather clock, which goes with the win and the cash. winning the final part of the Virginia Triple Crown. Good luck at Martinsville coming up, and go get that grandfather clock. Become a winner at Martinsville, my friend.
Thank you, man. I'd sure like to. So I'm excited about racing for it. It's definitely a tough race. So I feel like we got a good shot at it this year.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.